All right, there are just 22 days left till the opening night of the NBA season, but today feels like the unofficial start of the year because it's media day where 25 teams took the mics around the league. And over the next hour, we're going to catch you up on what everyone's got to say with the start of the year right around the corner. Let's start in LA with year 23 of LeBron.
I'm excited about today. I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to play the game that I love for another season. And, whatever the journey, however the journey, lays out this year, I'm just like super invested because like you just said, I don't know when the end is, but I know it's a lot sooner than later. So, being super appreciative of the fact that I could come up here and do another media day and talk to you guys and do all this stuff around here. So just excited about the journey and whatever, this year has in store for me.
LeBron, along those lines, you've said a version of that in this room a couple of times where, you don't really know what's going to come next. You don't know when you're going to feel that it's been enough. What are the things that are still pushing you to keep doing this? And does it feel closer? Or does it sort of feel like the same feeling as when you enter year 22 and year 21? Yeah,
the things that still push me is the fact that the love of the game is still high. The love of the process is even higher. So that's what continues to push me to play this game. It's really that simple. Me training and working on my body and trying to get my body as close to 100% as possible every year is something that's like, it's a beautiful thing for me, and just continue to challenge and see how well I can, push myself to, play the game at a high level, recover at a high level, be able to sleep better, mentally prepare, try to stay sharp throughout the course of a long season, and just like the roller coaster of an NBA season, that's all like gratifying towards me, to me, no matter the good, the bad, the ugly. Like I love that process. So I think it's so much that goes into it, more than just, picking up a basketball and shooting it at the rim.
LeBron, Brad Turner from the LA Times.
How you doing, Brad? Nice to meet you.
Back again. How much does having a young partner like Luka weigh in your decision and your future going forward?
Say it again?
How much does having a young partner like Luka, a savant basketball player, how much will that weigh into your decision as you go forward with this season?
As far as how long I go in my career?
How long you in your career, right?
Zero. The motivation to be able to play alongside him every night, that's super motivating. That's what I'm going to train my body for, every night that I go out there and try to be the best player I can for him. And we're gonna bounce that off one another. But as far as me weighing in on, him and some of my other teammates of how far I go in my career now, it would be literally my decision along with my wife and, two of my boys are already gone. Well, one of them is somewhere around here. Yeah, Bryce is down there in Tucson, so he's out the house. So it'll be a decision between, me, my wife, and my daughter. Like, that's not even, it won't be, hey, having a meeting with my teammates. It won't be that.
All right, well, we'll see what that all leads to this season. Let's welcome everyone in here. I'm George Sedano in for Malik Andrews. We'll hear from Malik a little later, alongside NBA champ Kendrick Perkins, Big Perk, and, of course, our NBA front office insider, Bobby Marks. Big Perk, I'll start with you. What do you make of what LeBron had to say today on Media Day?
Well, he said all the right things. The most important thing is that he's excited, he's motivated, and that means that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office did their job this offseason, right? If he's coming into training camp and he's happy and he's excited about this season, he's excited about the moves that they made. And I'm excited as well. I'm very high on the Los Angeles Lakers. I got them right up there with OKC and Houston, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team make it to the NBA Finals. They have a lot of young veteran guys. I love what Rui Hachimura brings to the game. Austin Reeves, we saw flashes of what he could be last year for us, the strides he took offensively. Luka in great shape. They got a point of attack defender and Marcus Smart on the perimeter. And DeAndre Ayton, I believe we're going to see the best version of him, something that we haven't seen in a long time. His mental is going to be there. So I'm high on this Los Angeles Lakers team, and if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you feel good about what LeBron James is saying right now, because that means he's excited and motivated, and he's pleased about what they did this offseason.
Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me was where was LeBron's mindset? The last time we saw him was limping off the court in Game 5, and as you heard in his interview, he still has that love to play the game. Here's a player that's 40 years old and is still a top 10 player in the NBA, and what LeBron said is that when that love for the game isn't going to be there, that's going to be his signal to walk away from it, and it's not going to be how great Luka is and what next year could look like. It's when he'll know when he's done playing, but he's not done quite yet. He still thinks that this team certainly can contend in the Western Conference here, and he looks, certainly from a health standpoint, that's going to be the biggest thing as far as where he is this year, because as I said, he's coming off that knee injury from that Minnesota series.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see. I do think the Houston situation at point guard is something obviously to monitor, but I'm with you guys. I think this team can be a top 4 or 5 team in the Western Conference, which will be tightly contested. Luka's looking great. Almost as good as Perk is looking these days. Perk is looking like a skinny Luka out there right now. All right, let's move on here. One of the storylines
medium, George.
Oh, medium, okay. One of the storylines that's dominated the offseason has been the NBA's investigation to the alleged cap circumvention between the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi has yet to speak on the allegations, but while we wait for Leonard to hit the podium, here's a straightforward denial from Clippers President of Basketball Operations, Lawrence Frank.
The salary cap governs everything we do. Our mission every day is to build the best team we can under the constraints of the cap. There is no gray area. There are no secret shortcuts. It's clear what we are and are not allowed to do. The accusations made against us are serious, and they don't line up with my experience, my reality. We will cooperate with this investigation and let this process play out. But we're eager for the whole truth, the whole picture. We're very confident that we're on the right side of things. Dennis knows the rules, Kawhi knows the rules, Mitch Frankel knows the rules, and we know the rules.
Bobby, where do you lie on all of this thus far?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to what I said a couple weeks ago when I was on the show. What the optics say and what the eventual proof will eventually say are probably two different things here. Listen, we live in a world where salary cap circumvention is the cardinal sin when it comes to how the league looks at it and how the teams go about their business here. And I believe what Lawrence Frank said on TV or when he did his media conference earlier today. They're not going to salary cap circumvent to basically go out and pay Kawhi Leonard more than what they already paid him, which was the maximum salary allowed here. We'll let this investigation play out. If they are convicted of it, yes, they will pay a significant penalty. But until they are convicted of it, I believe where the Clippers are right now.
Medium Perk?
I'm with Bobby. We got to let this play out. You know what I mean? A pair of lips could say anything. You have the reports, but let the investigation take place. Let it happen, and let's see where it's at right now. I mean, once it's over with, but as of right now, it's just a lot of speculation, and so, I'd rather not even, dive too deep into it.
Yeah, look, the league is going to take its time. We know they've hired an independent investigator in this particular situation. And I think you do take your time in this situation because you want to make sure that whatever you find, you give the investigation firm an ample amount of time to dig into things and make sure that they figure out and they get to the bottom of it. So it's just as simple as that. Full swing. Let's head out east with a little full court press. Our reporter Tim Bontemps is covering the Cavs in Cleveland. What was the biggest takeaway, Tim?
Thanks, George. As the Cleveland Cavaliers enter this season as one of the favorites to win the Eastern Conference, the biggest question hanging over the franchise entering Media Day Monday was the status of Darius Garland's left big toe after he had surgery on it back in June. Take a listen to what Garland had to say when I asked him about his progress this summer in his recovery from that surgery.
Everything is good. Summer is really well. Rehab's been going really well. I'm back on the court. I'm moving around. I'm ramping up for the season. So everything's been good. It's been a really good off season. Everything's been looking great. Doc been saying everything's been looking great. So I'm happy where I'm at right now. I'm gonna keep working, keep progressing. Working on conditioning and cardio right now. So I'm happy to be back on the court.
Now, while Garland is expected to miss the start of the season as he recovers from his injury, Max Strus definitely will, after he suffered a Jones fracture this offseason and is now 5 weeks out from his own surgery to repair that. Now, Strus was walking without a boot on his foot. He told me he was feeling good in his recovery and that he'll know more about his potential timeline for return after a meeting with the doctors next week. But with 2 perimeter ball handlers out, one thing to watch for with the Cavs, more ball handling duties for Evan Mobley. As the rising star big man told me, he's very excited about the opportunity to take on a bigger ball handling role to both shoulder the load with those guys out and to help him grow his game. Now for more on the Atlanta Hawks, here's Ohm Youngmisuk.
Thanks, Tim. It was Welcome to Atlanta Day here at Hawks Media Day with the new additions of Kristaps Porzingis, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Luke Kennard. There is a lot of excitement here in Atlanta, especially from Trae Young, who's looking to lead perhaps the best roster he's ever had around him. Now, Young was asked this morning about his own future and the lack of a contract extension and if he was disappointed.
Disappointment, I mean, maybe, for sure. I mean, for me, like, I'm so focused. I'm more happy about the team that we got going into the season. For me, I'm blessed, bro. Like, I wasn't stressing about anything. If something happened, it happened. If it didn't, I mean, I still got, time, and who knows what the future is for me. But right now I'm here and I'm present, like me and Coach have been talking about. So I'm excited about it and I'm ready to go.
I asked Trae about a recent sit-down he had with Quinn Snyder and how he can be a better leader, and both Snyder and Trae mentioned the word efficiency. He is going to have to be much more efficient than last year with his shooting, turnovers, and defense if he's going to lead one of the youngest teams in the league deep into the playoffs. For more in Milwaukee, here's Jamal Collier.
And thanks. Milwaukee Bucks Media Day was underway here, but without star Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was back home in Greece after testing positive for COVID. Giannis did join, talk to reporters via Zoom, and his voice sounded a little bit scratchy, but he said he was feeling a lot better and was hoping to join the team sometime later this week. Giannis was disappointed not being here for the start of camp, but he also confirmed reporting from our Shams Charania over the summer that said that Giannis explored his options outside of Milwaukee this offseason to see where it was best for him to win that second championship. And Giannis said, quote, "It's the same thing I've been saying for my whole career. I want to be on a team that allows me and gives me a chance to win a championship. I think it's a disservice to basketball and to the game to not to want to compete at a high level and to want your season to end in April." Now, the Bucks have lost for 3 straight years in the first round, but Bucks general manager John Horst and team governor Wes Edens both said they've got a reconfirmed commitment from Giannis about his future and commitment to this franchise going forward. But when Giannis was asked about that conversation with Wes Edens that the governor said happened during June, Giannis flat out said it, "I do not recall." Back to you, George.
All right, Jamal, thank you so much. The Cavs are currently the favorites to win the East at plus 225, with the Knicks not far behind at plus 280. And then we look at the Hawks, 4th shortest odds there after the Magic, and you see Sixers, Pistons, Celtics, and Bucks. All right, let's welcome back in Perk and Bobby Marks. All right, Perk, I'm going to start with you. What did you make of what Jamal said specifically about Giannis's quote about his future in Milwaukee and wanting to win championships?
I mean, I feel like this has been the same thing for the last 5 years, and Giannis is supposed to keep pressure on the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis is a guy that's, no one ever questioned how hard Giannis is going to compete. He's gotten better every single season. And when you have a generational talent like Giannis Antetokounmpo, it should be all about championships. Now, I will say this, the one thing about the Milwaukee Bucks, whether it worked or not, they are always aggressive, whether that's in the offseason or whether that's, doing it at the trade deadline. They're always making moves and trying to surround Giannis with the pieces so that he can't go out there and compete. And I believe this upcoming season, they will start off the season, then reevaluate what they have, and they will continue to be aggressive to make sure you have the pieces to keep Giannis happy.
Bobby?
I think, George, when you're looking at this, and Giannis said all the right things, I think it's just the first time we've actually seen him, say it publicly, as far as him kind of reevaluating where he is in Milwaukee and the goal of trying to compete for a championship here. When you look at it, the big picture, they got a year to prove it here. Giannis is going to be extension eligible next summer, potentially could become a free agent in 2027. But I will say this. I will say Milwaukee is in a better position where they are right now than where they were after they lost to Indiana in 5 games here, based on no Damian Lillard on the roster, who was going to be injured and out for most of this year. You replace him with Miles Turner, and you add some shooting to surround Giannis, certainly bringing back Gary Trent and Gary Harris here. Question marks at point guard. I could see them competing for a top 4 seed in this wide open Eastern Conference, but they're going to need an MVP-like performance by Giannis this season.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be a lot of heavy lifting for Giannis, but yeah, that East, who knows what's going to happen there in that 4-5 area in the Eastern Conference. First couple you can lock in after. Cooper Flagg, his first media day. We'll head to Texas here in a second. It's been a busy summer for the Mavs, with Cooper Flagg being the #1 overall pick, second youngest #1 NBA draft pick in history. To add an infusion of youth and defense to the roster in free agency, the Mavs plugged their point guard hole by signing D'Angelo Russell to a 2-year, $11.7 million deal to keep Dallas afloat at guard as Kyrie rehabs. You see Kyrie there. He's been working out in South Dakota while rehabbing his torn ACL. He suffered back in March. Irving signed a 3-year, $118 million deal to return to Dallas this offseason. And now joining us here on NBA Today, our Dallas Mavericks reporter, Tim McMahon. Every team has a ton of optimism on Media Day, Tim, but not every team has 3 former #1 overall picks on the roster. So what's the scene like in Dallas today, partner?
Howdy, George. Look, there's obviously a lot of optimism. There's a buzz around Cooper Flagg, the beginning of his career, this 18-year-old, potentially generational prospect. And he's excited to come in here. Very unique situation for a #1 overall pick to join a team. Not only is it a team with win-now expectations, but a team that has 3 future Hall of Famers: Klay Thompson, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving. Now, as far as when Kyrie will actually be on the court with the Mavericks, Jason Kidd made a point to temper expectations. He said, stop saying he's ahead of schedule. That's not fair to Kyrie. It's not fair to the Mavericks. He's on schedule. He's doing quite well. And then Kyrie came in here and smiled. He said, I'm right on schedule. But he does not want to set a specific date in terms of a target for his return. It's going to be a little while. Good news with another former #1 overall pick, Anthony Davis, had the retina surgery this summer, and AD says he is fully cleared. Now there's redness in the eye, so that's caused by drops. He is going to have to wear protective glasses for the rest of his career per his doctor's mandate. But Cooper Flagg will be teamed up with AD, with Klay Thompson from the get-go. And then at some point, Kyrie will join the fold, but that is not on the horizon.
Wow. All right. Well, there you have it, Tim. Certainly a lot to discuss there. So thank you so much for hanging out with us, because to me, the Kyrie thing is certainly going to loom all season long until we see him on the floor, because then we can really see what this Mavs team is made of. But thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. All right. One of the biggest storylines of this offseason has been the stalemate between Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors, and Media Day was the next chapter. Well, Kuminga was not at Media Day. But as our Shams Charania reported yesterday, Al Horford will be with the Warriors this season. He was joined by DeAnthony Melton in committing to signing a deal and officially signing Gary Payton II today as well. So it's beginning to look like this Steph Curry team is finally coming together. But here's what the legend has to say about how unique year 17 will be due to the uncertainty of the roster. Here's Malika with Steph.
Here with Warriors star Steph Curry at Media Day. Media Day number 17, is that right? 17?
That is right. I'm saying it out loud more and more to make it feel real, but it's special. Cool opportunity to climb the ladder again.
17 Media Days. What makes this one different?
They're all pretty much the same to a certain extent. You obviously got new faces on the team, new faces around the organization. But it's always like first day of school vibes, like good energy. Everybody's excited for training camp to officially start. You know, it's just one of those things where you laid your outfit out, and it's like, all right, let's put it on, let's get to go. Let's
Made
get going.
sure there's no creases
Absolutely.
in it. It's
All
first
the
day of
above.
school. The last time, Steph, that we saw you, unfortunately, it was in the playoffs when your time was cut short with that hamstring injury.
Yep.
How much does that motivate you going into this new year?
It's just a reminder of we were a really good team down the stretch of the season. Made our way into the playoffs, beat obviously Houston in the first round, and felt like we were just finding our stride after the trade for Jimmy. And we want to try to carry that momentum into this year. It's 82 games. You have to stay healthy. It's a war of attrition for every team in the league. And, for us to hopefully not be in a position where we're chasing like we were down the stretch last year and give ourselves some breathing room heading into a playoff race and a playoff run. I feel like that's motivation enough, but I'm excited to get back out there and hopefully be on the floor.
Well, let's put some numbers to that really good stretch that you had. You all were 23-8 with the three of you, Jimmy Butler and Draymond and yourself in the lineup. Knowing that, what do you think that this team can be with a full season ahead of you?
I mean, that and more. I mean, if you extrapolate that record out to a full season, like that's going to get you home court advantage pretty safely. And for us, like we know when we're healthy and you're going toe-to-toe against anybody in the West that we feel like we have a really good chance. And, hopefully with some kind of, rejuvenated energy around that identity. We don't have to really figure much out. It's just can we, put it all together again and do it for a whole year.
Draymond told me that this may be the most crowded he has seen the Western Conference, and that's saying something because every single year it feels like we're talking about how crowded the West is. What do you think? Where does this stack up over the course of your career?
It's definitely the most competitive top to bottom. I think there's always been your favorites, but you could argue probably 10 to 11, maybe 10 teams, 11 teams that legitimately you could talk yourself into. The case of them representing the West, and we want to obviously be a part of that group. But it's just, can you get off to a good start? Can you find your identity as quickly as possible? Our collective IQ and experience hopefully can carry us, mixed with some of our young energy. For us, it's a great challenge. And for us to still be relevant after all these years and trying to keep putting it together, that's what we're most proud of.
I don't know if it's just relevant. It might be even a step more than that, right? Do you look at yourself still as a top 5 player in this league?
I don't ever want to limit myself to anything. And so I feel like I still can, lead a team to win at the highest level, whatever that ranking is. The idea that there's, like you said in the West, there's some superstar talent. There's teams that have been doing it, OKC, the reigning champs. You got Denver's who, have tried to retool. You go down the list. And for us, and for me, to be able to put myself in a position where I know night in, night out, I can perform at a high level. That's what you put all the work in over the summer, and then putting it together with my guys and figuring out what our chemistry is going to be like from jump. I'm excited about it.
Well, speaking of that chemistry, Steve Kerr may have to suit up for some of these scrimmages early on in this training camp because not everybody's here yet. Y'all are waiting on a couple of people, right? Yeah. What have the conversations that you've had with maybe some other guys, even Jonathan Kuminga, the guys you're hoping to get a little bit later in this training camp in life?
They've been positive. I think we understand being around this thing for as long as we have and how unique of a run this has been, that we're going to find ourselves in some wild situations. You'd like to avoid it as much as possible, but the business of basketball it's a tough grind. Nothing ever is as straightforward as it may seem, and so for us just to be able to say whoever's in that locker room when we get here, we're committed to the goal of winning. We know how much everybody is going to bring to that journey, and there's a lot of value in there in respect to the 82 and get into a playoff position. Everybody's going to have a part in that. So be committed to it when you're in there, and the business stuff will take care of itself. It's our job to just go hoop and play basketball.
Well, Steph, I know you have business to attend to here, so I really appreciate the time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Appreciate you.
All right, Malika, great stuff from you and Steph there. All right, Perk, got to ask you, what's Chef Curry going to have to cook up this season to reach the expectations that they have for themselves?
Well, I mean, he's going to have to play like a top 10 player in the league. And one thing, I would never go against the light-skinned brother with the green eyes, especially with him having Jimmy Butler alongside of him. But the problem that I do have is that Malika just talked about it and asked Steph about it, about basically not having, everybody there for us to start a training camp. And I know how vital it is when you're trying to compete for a title and go win the championship, especially getting out of a tough Western Conference. It is crucial to get off a great start. Training camp is more about just what you do on the floor, but it's about the camaraderie, the chemistry that you build off the floor, and they really have to get this Jonathan Kuminga situation done real quick, whether it's, they're going to come to agreement and sign him and he's going to show up or whatever the case may be, but they need to get this behind them.
Bobby?
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to look at what they did after the Jimmy Butler trade last year as far as being one of the best teams in the Western Conference and what this team could have been if Stephen Curry had remained healthy here. I think I look at big picture for where this Warriors team is. If we're looking at tiers in the Western Conference, I think they're in the tier 3 among all teams. Oklahoma City's in tier 1 by themselves. And then we look at teams certainly like Houston and Denver in that tier 2. Clippers, I would also put there. And then them and the Lakers in tier 3, but certainly with room to improve to get to that tier 2. My big concern with Golden State is, as Perk just said, the Kuminga situation here. We're going to get some clarity on that by Wednesday, October 1st, when that qualifying offer is set to expire, if he takes that, or a new deal. And then also the age of this roster, when you have 4 players, now added Al Horford, who are in their mid-30s, who are going to play a lot of minutes during this year. If they can get that Kuminga situation resolved and kind of block out the noise, yes, I do think this Golden State team can be one of these teams that can contend with Oklahoma City in the Western Conference.
Yeah, well, that's just a couple of days away. I don't know about you, I'm ready to go already. Victor Wembanyama may have made all the social feeds with his worldwide travels this summer, but he was also deeply committed to his recovery from a blood clot that cost him 30 games to end the season. Here's Wemby on that balance at Spurs Media Day.
It's life-changing. I've been spending so much time in hospitals and around doctors and, hearing more bad news than I wish I heard. Of course, it's, I just said it's traumatic, but in the long run, I think it's going to be very beneficial because even though I don't wish it on nobody, it makes you understand lessons that nothing else could have made you understand. And I can assure you nobody has trained like I did this summer. And this is my best summer so far. Like I can tell the progress is just incredible. I feel better, I look stronger, and the scale says I'm heavier, so everything is a green light.
Wemby season loading here soon. Victor Wembanyama's living up to the hype. He's the only player in NBA history with 400 career blocks and 200 three-pointers in his first 2 seasons. And he did that despite missing 47 games so far in his NBA career. But he may need to shoulder more of the load in the early going. As De'Aaron Fox said Monday, he doesn't think he'll be ready for opening night. Kevin Durant was back on the court this weekend, getting ready for his first season in Houston. Today, he was at the podium addressing the media for the first time as a Houston Rocket.
I do see myself signing a contract extension. I can't tell you exactly when that'll happen, but I do see it happening. And just seeing the quick progression of this franchise from where it was right after that James Harden, Chris Paul era. Seeing when Ime got here and how he turned around so fast. And I have some connections here within the organization, people I work with around the league already. So it just felt organic and natural coming into the gym, getting be a Houston Rocket for the first time. So I always have respect for this coaching staff, this fan base, this state, this city. So it feels right.
All right, let's welcome back Perk and, of course, Bobby Marks, and welcome in the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst. Brian, you're there in Houston. What do you got for us?
Yeah, I think the key thing with Durant, I don't know if you're aware of this, George. The last couple of times he was going to be a free agent, it was kind of a big story. It only hung over the entire NBA for the whole year. So him coming in today and saying, look, I want to be here and I plan to be here, I envision staying here, that was important. This is a little bit more complicated time in the NBA because of the aprons and stuff that's annoying to fans but is very real for teams. You can't just hand out automatic max contract extensions, especially to guys who are 37 years old like Kevin turns today. But I think his message that he wanted to send was he came here because he really believes in this team. He has a great relationship with Coach Ime Udoka, and he wants this to be his home. There's a lot of excitement around this team here today, muted by the fact that Fred VanVleet was not here coming off ACL surgery, and they're going to have to manage that for sure. But the Durant message he sent here today is that I'm a Rocket, I'm going to be a Rocket going forward, and that's probably the most important thing that could happen today.
Brian, quick follow-up here for you. What is the expectation at point guard for this team?
Yeah, it's a really good question that has a bit of a detailed, complicated answer. They don't have a replacement. So Ime Udoka said today they're going to do it by committee, which could include Kevin Durant playing some point guard. But more interesting, Amen Thompson, their young, high upside forward, he's going to play point guard for this team a lot, as is 2024 number 3 pick Reed Shepherd. I don't know if this is the formula for a team to instantly contend with the Thunder, but it's a formula for a team that's going to be exciting to watch.
Perk, what do you think?
I don't think we should put too much emphasis in the point guard position. They have a lot of guys that could push the ball, push the pace, and get them in the offense. I think this team need to solely be locked in on what their identity is, and that's being one of the better defensive teams in the league. That's what they need to do and get out and run, and I believe they will. I think Wendy is right. We will see Kevin Durant running some point forward at times, which he thrives well. He's an underrated playmaker, but I'm excited about the Rockets. And Wendy, I'm a little disappointed in you. You touched down in Houston, Texas, and you didn't call your boy Big Perk to pull up on you? I mean, damn.
I was expecting to see you at the airport, Perk, and you were not there. And no, you did not send a car either.
Bobby, what are you weighing on this?
Listen, the Fred VanVleet injury stings here. I do think this Rockets team has enough to compete in the Western Conference. As Brian said, we're going to see a lot of Amen Thompson at point guard here. I think the most important thing takeaway from all of training camp was what Brian said, is that Durant basically has dismissed as far as becoming a free agent next year and will sign an extension here. And we can kind of put that to bed and now focus on the court for Houston.
And, the one thing this Rockets team needed was a closer, and we know Kevin Durant is certainly capable of doing that. All right.